What up, man? I don't know what happened on part three, but we back here, man. I think the last thing I was telling y'all about was that competition in October 2009. It's called Rock the Mic, and like I said, I was giving out. We had to give out tickets and stuff like that, and it was just for the young comics. And I remember the guy who I told you initially, let me get on stage at the open mic. He went from treat me like one of the young boys, like literally kind of like being kind of like kind of funny acting. Once I got funny, because it was obvious I was funny as a motherfucker. And some people don't have that. They're insecure. You know what I'm saying? So they can't handle another funny comic, especially if they way funnier than them. So it was October, man, and it was the Rock the Mic competition. So I started noticing the dudes started acting funny with me that Friday. We had a show Wednesday, which was like the little competition. Then they did the open mic. Thursday was nobody in there, but I ripped Wednesday. I ripped Thursday, even though wasn't nobody there. Friday, started getting a little bit more people. I was still getting it in. By Saturday, it was two shows that was sold out, and I was ripping and it got so bad at the first show. You know, we had to draw numbers to figure out what spot we was gonna go in. And I just wanted to go later, not because no ego thing. Shit, I really wasn't even funny yet. I was still learning. I wanted to go last or to go later because my people hadn't even gotten there yet. So man, one dude, he drew number 8, I drew number 2, and so we switched. So the dude I was telling you about earlier, who used to host it all the time, he decided his ego wasn't finna let me go in front of him or go behind him. So he's like, hey, you going behind me, you going in front of me. And I'm like, fuck no. So by this time I got tired of, I ain't had to kiss no ass or be real nice. I was like, man, that's fucked up. Y'all niggas bogus. We out the band, so I just snapped. So I was like, all right, man, fuck it. I went up and I ripped so hard that he couldn't follow me. So the crowd was still saying my name. All he could say throughout his set was, "That nigga really funny, ain't he?" That's all he could say. That's how funny I was. That's how much hard I ripped and he did. And shit, you know what I'm saying? And the next night, no, the next show, which was at 10:30 show, he went up real early, did like 2 or 3 minutes, and he just left. I mean, straight disappeared. And, you know, but that's how the game is. Niggas get jealous quick as a motherfucker. And I remember getting asked that night to come to Arvin Mitchell's show. Arvin, the big homie, used to host Comic View and shit, with one of the co-hosts or whatever. And I did this show, and that was the night, which was that Sunday night, that I came up with the whole thing, bounce when you say the junior. You know what I'm saying? Because I noticed I was watching the footage of myself that Saturday night on YouTube, but I put it up there, and I kept on saying, every time I said my name, I'll bounce with it. And where that came from was I was noticing, I was watching the video, and when I told this joke that hit the first show, that did hit the second show. So the second show it didn't hit, so I was like, bounce that motherfucker then. I also noticed every time I said Junior, when I did this one joke, I would bounce. So he was like, what's your name? Or I was like, what's your name? I was like, Willie Lynch Jr. And bounce when you say the Junior. And I've been saying that shit ever since. It's been catchy, and people, remember me by that shit. Look who's here. But yeah, man. So that was the early years, and that was October 2009. By November, I got even stronger because a lot of the veterans in St. Louis they didn't like the club owner for a whole lot of reasons. Some of it was his fault, some of it was their fault, but they didn't ever come to the club. Move, and they wouldn't come to the club. So I was getting a lot of stage time, a whole lot of stage time, and for me to be that new, I started getting good quick than a motherfucker. So I opened up for Rodman. He was like, nigga, you funny. He's like, keep going. If you just started, nigga, just keep going. Shane told me the same thing. Pierre told me the same thing. Then the biggest hit light of my career at the time was December. I opened up for Bill Bellamy. And, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, that was like, you know what I'm saying? You understand? Like, nigga, seeing Bill, and then the nigga was so fucking cool. I'm like, nigga, I grew up trying to be you. You know what I'm saying? And see him, he was so fucking cool. And we did 7 shows that week. Nigga, I got paid $200. That's how bogus the club owner was. But Bill was so cool. He was talking to me. Hey, shut your ass up. We ain't watching no movie. But he was like, hey, I remember Bill told me we was at this club called EXO. He's like, nigga, you commit to this game, I'm committed to you. And I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? So we always kept in touch. He's supposed to put me on Who's Got Jokes. So he told me I can be on there, but then I'm not coming back. So, but I mean, nigga, I started to get hot. Niggas was like, this nigga's fucking funny. And just fast forward, February the next year, I kept hearing about the Bay Area comedy competition. And everybody saying, was like, man, don't do that shit. It's rigged. You ain't gonna never win. You know, them niggas bogus, yada, yada, yada. They ain't gonna help your career. So I ended up doing it. Mind you, I'm 7 months in the game, bro. I went out there. All I wanted to do was get out the first round. Just because other niggas said I wasn't gonna be able to do it. And I wanted to just let them niggas see me in 10 minutes. Because I was new. But in 15 minutes, nigga, I was one of the strongest young niggas in the fucking country. Because I was, you know, I had that shit. I was cold. I was like Chris Tucker, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, I did that. I got out the first round, ripped. Second round, nigga, destroyed that motherfucker. And made it to the finals. And I was like the dark horse. They was like, this nigga gonna win because nobody knew who I was. And I was funny and different. So I ended up, I didn't win. Well, before I even tell you that, you know, I ended up going back to St. Louis. I opened up for Rise G. And she was like, nigga, you funny as fuck. You remind me of Dick Gregory. You know what I'm saying? So I started building a reputation for myself. Mama! And, I mean, everything just started working. Mama! Hey, be quiet. Mama! I started building a rep for myself. Mama! And I went back 2 months. 2 months later, that April, for the finals in Oakland. And I kind of choked. Because D.C. Curry, he stepped on one of my jokes. He didn't steal it, but he did a joke about Tiger Woods. And that was like my opener. And I couldn't follow this shit. I didn't know what to do, so I panicked. So, nigga, I started bombing. I was getting booed. Eventually, I got out of that shit and kept going. And I ended up finishing real strong. I ripped. But it wasn't strong enough to win. And, I mean, shit, nigga. Like, your boy just started getting hot. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers started knowing who I was. It's like, man, this dude funny, different. And, you know, I just had a good name for myself. Started making a name. I mean, nigga, this shit would just start taking off. And the bad part, though, was the comedy club that closed in March in St. Louis. Because the club owner, he was just a dirty-ass nigga anyway, man. He wasn't paying bills and wasn't paying comedians and wasn't running it right. So he closed it down. And it was sad because after that, comedy just kind of died in St. Louis for real, like really good comedy. You know what I'm saying? Because you had shows, but they was in little holes in the wall, bar and grills. And then it just wasn't, you know, sometimes shows be too fucking long, too many people on. And I just started getting just disillusioned by that shit, man. I was like, I'm funny, man. I want to get out of here. At the time, when me and one of the homies, me and one of the niggas like my best friend now, we was beefing back then, just over just stupid shit. My nigga Sauce, and I was like, this nigga Sauce. He was signed with, you know, Bob something and them and shit. And I was like, man, I'm just funny as that nigga, man. I want to, you know, I want to go do something like that nigga doing. But he had been in the game for a minute. And so I ended up going to, I ended up getting a job offer. Because, you know, I got my master's degree. I got a job offer in Chicago. It's making like 40-something grand a year. And I was like, nigga, hell yeah, I'm going to take it. Because I was ready to move. Because I heard about Jokes and Notes. And St. Louis just wasn't popping in terms of the comedy scene. And so, nigga, I ended up leaving, took the job, man. And that's what we finna go to next. The Chicago chapter, Willie Lynch. Junior, bounce when you say the Junior, get your ass out. Get gone.